All
Hello.
right, in 3. No giggling. 2.
Good day, Internet.
Good day, Internet.
Good day, Internet.
Oh, hi. Good day, Internet. Forgetting I'm supposed to say that for this one.
Today's Daily Tech News Show is filmed before a live studio audience.
Yeah.
We've got Otis here in our
Rich,
satellite wing.
Rich Troffolino is back. Amos is here as well.
Woo woo.
Hey, everybody. Yesterday, I got in trouble for not showing them. So remind me after the show to make them come over here.
Come over here.
Get over here.
Do it in
Get
the
over
brain more colors.
I have a snake here. Does that count? He's over
Yeah.
there. Okay.
What's your snake's name? I can't remember.
Norman.
Norman the snake.
That's right.
Good job, snake.
Good snake.
Badger, badger, badger.
Oh, man. Deep cut.
Yeah.
That was good.
Hey, folks, if you're watching live or listening live in the Discord, you can suggest titles for both Good Day Internet and DTNS with the Bang S command. That's an exclamation point, S, then a space, then your title idea, either in irc.chatrealm.net, in the Discord, or in the Twitch chat. It's fun for the whole family.
Fun. Boy, is it slightly less hot today than it was yesterday.
Do you know, I think talking about the weather is an evolutionary advantage.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's a sense of... Was it when our cave-dwelling ancestors were sitting outside of the cave corner lot and figured it'd be a good idea to...
I think it's an evolutionary advantage to want to share ideas about the weather, because the weather is something you can't escape like you can a lion.
I thought it was
So you need to...
obligatory small talk.
Obligatory small talk has an evolutionary advantage. That's why it happened. Otherwise, why would we do it?
Well, it's because our ancestors got married and we needed small talk to be nice with their friends.
I don't know. I think that's a self-fulfilling reasoning there.
Self-fulfilling reason.
Why does weather fulfill that object? I think there's more to it than that.
Do you? I would like to read your paper, Tom.
Yes, I'll be submitting it to the Journal of Chairman Chang's
Academy of Mildly Interesting Stats.
Tom, if you gave a TED Talk, what would your topic be if you got to choose?
The name Ted has meant many things through history.
I was hoping you'd say a lot of people are worried about security in today's technology environment, but are they? And then just
and stop, drop the mic and walk out.
Yeah, I would love that.
Ted Kennedy and Ted Roosevelt are two very different Teds. But what about Ted Knight?
Yeah,
fictional, true.
Well, he didn't like the roommate, not the roommate. Wasn't what was his name?
Maybe I should start a video called TED Talks where I just talk about people named Ted each episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, like Teddy Roosevelt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy. Presidents, killers.
Yeah. Teddy
Ruxpin, a good pull. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, nice. Famous. Hold on. Teds.
I guess what would yours be, Scott?
Oh my gosh, I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't know. I have nothing.
Ted Turner, good one. TV show.
Yeah, Ted Turner's good. I have nothing good to do a TED Talk on.
I would just have a title. I just have a title, but I don't really have a subject. Mine would be, I don't know you, but I probably hate you.
Ooh, you could do Ted Nugent.
Oh
yeah. Yeah.
Political.
That could be controversial. Yeah.
Who?
You could do Bill and Ted and focus on Ted.
Whatever happened to Ted?
He's on stage at E3 introducing.
Big deal. Big deal.
Yeah, he went on to do
okay. Drinking there, Sarah.
Oh, it's a lime LaCroix, Tom. I'm glad you asked. We decided to switch it up a little today.
Lime.
A little citrus. Well, I guess grapefruit is citrus as well. The pamplemousse is my LaCroix of choice.
Tang. Well, it's not Tang, it's LaCroix.
Yeah.
Ted Williams.
Yeah. So that's what's going on, right?
Ted Danson.
Oh yeah, we could do lots of TED Talks.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll start doing that on my green
Oh,
screen.
I thought it was what would your TED Talk be titled, not famous TEDs.
Well, Scott legitimately asked me what my TED Talk would be, and I very
Oh.
uncooperatively responded, I would talk about people named Ted.
Got it.
Ted Williams, good one. TV's Travis. TV's Travis should be the co-producer on my TED Talks. It's a lot of TED ideas.
I can't think of any.
What about just Ted the plumber? Just some guy named Ted.
When Teddy Ruxpin grows up, he'd probably be Ted.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
don't call me Teddy. I'm an adult.
So would he move from cassette tapes to CDs and then ultimately like a digital audio player?
Yeah.
Like he
I bet
comes-
Teddy Ruxpin gets tired of people trying to touch his tape deck. Love it.
It's in a very inconvenient.
But you know what? He would be in a perfect position to have a mixtape for when he wishes to swoon his.
Teddy Pendergrass. Good one, Ice Thing.
Ted Demme, great filmmaker.
Mm. Ted Kaczynski.
It fed.
Yeah.
Got to take
That's
all
a man.
Teds.
Yep,
When you're doing a TED Talk.
Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz.
Ted Kennedy. So you get both. You get a conservative and a liberal.
Mhm. Do we do Theodore?
I think they have to go by Ted.
Okay. At some point, they have to go by Ted, whether after they've grown up and stopped
Right.
being.
So
a
they have to go by
player.
Ted. They can't go by any other.
Well, I think if you're like Theodore Roosevelt, it's like, well,
Yeah,
They
but
call
people
him
call him
Teddy
Ted.
Roosevelt, though. So
Teddy.
I think you could do
Okay,
him. But if it's
all
somebody that only ever goes by Theodore, you're right. Yeah.
or Theo.
Ted Koppel. He's cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, Ted Koppel. Yeah.
You should get
Couldn't
him
do
first.
doctors.
He's kind of up there
Oh,
in age.
Theodore Geisel, right?
He's
yeah.
89. Yeah. He's getting on.
Ted Koppel's 89?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, I'm sorry. 79. I jumped a decade.
I was going to say, he
I
doesn't
was
look
gonna
a day over
say,
70
I was
like
gonna
me.
say, good for you, Ted.
Yeah. I got that wrong.
Ted Koppel's only 79?
Yeah. Yeah. We can have the reverse shock now.
Yeah.
Ted Danson is 71.
I believe it. I just,
Ted Danson used to go to my old gym.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And, we'll just, not to out him or anything, it was a gym that he and I were both at. And he worked out in jeans.
Wow.
Yep.
In jeans.
Yep.
Ted Danson stood
Wasn't
behind
just
me in a
once
restaurant
either.
one time.
It was several times in jeans.
Wow.
He seemed, he wasn't like on the treadmill. It was more like weights and everything. So I'm like, I don't know, maybe they're just really comfortable.
like, how old was he at that time? Was he in his 60s?
Ted
Probably.
Danson?
Yeah.
It's like last year.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, I thought it was like, way back, like,
No.
maybe he,
Back
Somewhat
in,
recently.
basketball, Ted
maybe
Danson
he
used to go to
has
a
like
gym.
a line of denim workout wear.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
weird
he looked great.
He does look great.
It's
Guy's in great shape.
I don't know. I always have this issue. Like when you see somebody that you're like, oh, celebrity, it's like, that looks like him, but it probably isn't. And so then it's like this whole like, but it
Mhm.
looks so much like him. And, and eventually it's like, it's him, Sarah. That's who that is.
I was
It's not a
sitting
Ted
in a
Danson
restaurant.
lookalike.
Eileen and her friend were sitting across from me, and they're both going crazy, like, Ted Danson's behind you. Ted Danson. I'm like, first of all, I thought that maybe they were joking. Second of all, I didn't want to like turn around and be looking right up into his face, like all weird. And then he left. And I never saw him.
Oh, well, opportunity missed.
I
Yeah.
know.
We could have become best friends.
Did we say Ted Bundy?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Ted Bundy was suggested. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Ted Zeppelin.
Ted Zeppelin. Oh.
Get the Ted out.
It's 8:00 on WPGU. Time to get the Ted out.
He died tied up.
Nice. That's the
Father Ted. Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz, yeah.
Ted Cruz. Yeah. I
I-
feel like I'm
oh, yeah.
missing a really good one. I gotta
Roger,
do better than
um,
Teddy Ruxpin.
A couple of people have said your audio seems quiet to them in the Twitch chat, which is odd because it sounds fine to me. So I don't know if that helps you.
I'm not
Passing
talking a lot.
I think he wasn't talking into the mic at the time.
Maybe that's all it was.
What if I talk like this and then
Yeah,
slowly move
that sounds-
away?
Right.
Sarah,
Figuring
Every
Sarah,
point you make should be a fade.
Doppler effect.
I really like
Yes, Tom?
would you like me to bring the hot tamales to you today at the meetup? or tomorrow at our team dinner?
I don't really care.
Okay.
Why don't it'll be Tom's choice.
All right. I'll bring him to the team dinner then.
Another Oscar
Yeah,
nominee.
You can have him for dessert.
Tom's
There you go.
choice.
Yeah, because if you bring him tonight, then I might just eat the whole thing
Yeah.
and call it dinner, which would be fine.
Or if
Well,
she might feel obligated to share. That's I don't want that.
I don't
Well,
want to
you
share.
could say that you had
Yeah,
tamales
with the
for
team, I'm like, get away from me. But I wouldn't do that to anybody who might be coming to
Right,
me
right. You might feel obligated.
to share my hot tamales. Uncouth.
Tedeschi Kovacs, the lead character in Altered Carbon.
Does that count?
I don't know if that's a TED.
Yeah, I don't know if it is or not.
That's a TEDx.
Little satellite conference somewhere in like Des Moines.
I actually really love this idea. Like, I wonder if I could just pull off like TED Talks and get not sued.
Yeah,
'Cause we're talking about people named Ted.
be parody,
Mhm.
even though you're doing like you do real information about these TEDs.
Yeah, and it'll be parody, so I'll have a defense. Justice
My name's
Rehnquist.
Teddy Ruxpin. Can you and I be friends? Do you guys remember that?
Yep. Oh yeah.
I was too old for a Teddy Ruxpin, but one of my cousins had one. And
Oh, really? Wow. I'm jealous.
yeah, and there wasn't much to it really.
Nope. It's a dumb bear.
Wait, because then you're like, yes, we can be friends. And it's like, there's no follow up.
Yeah.
Way
was
worse than an Echo.
It was a bad. Yeah. An echo.
Bad digital assistant.
Yeah.
Alexa, can we be friends?
I don't know what you mean.
He's happy to be my friend.
Wasn't that nice?
Friends buy things from each other.
What would you like to buy from me?
Teddy Ruxpin. I'm trying to
I
find
see
the
you
year.
recently ordered Nespresso coffee.
Oh, it's interesting. They're currently owned by somebody called Wicked Cool Toys. But
What,
they
Teddy Ruxpin?
they were originally World of Wonder from 85 to 90, then sold to Hasbro till 96, then
Oh,
Yes
World of
Entertainment
Wonder.
till 99, and then somebody named Backpack Toys till 2010. And now Wicked Cool Toys owns them, whoever that is.
Are they doing anything with it?
France has the lead against Norway in the World Cup.
I'm looking.
Sports on the sevens.
Products. They have a product called Blinger, which looks like a bedazzler
Blinger.
for kids. Oh, they have Cabbage Patch Kids, so they're the ones who.
I forgot they put stories on tapes, and you'd put them in his belly and play the tapes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you
I forgot
think it
about
was
that.
for?
I do remember people putting like Olivia Newton-John tapes in Teddy Ruxpin.
Yeah, that's
was
too
hilarious.
physical and stuff. Yeah.
Why Olivia Newton-John tapes?
What I remember somebody did. I don't know
Oh,
why
They
that was.
there
sell
wasn't
it.
like some great reason.
They totally
Let's
sell.
get
They still
physical.
sell it.
You can buy this thing. Wow. Oh yeah, you totally can.
It's $99. Winner of the 2018 Infant/Toddler Toy of the Year.
What is?
Teddy
Ruxpin.
Ruxpin?
The
Has it been
Whisker?
updated?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
It now has kind of like a crew blonde haircut, and the
Oh,
fur is much
the whole-
blonder.
It's a whole
Skinny
different
jeans.
bear.
He kind of
Yeah.
actually looks like he's an employee at a hardware store.
Yeah, no. Amos asked the important question: does it still play tapes?
Let me
Oh,
see.
probably
I
not,
doubt
right?
it.
The
like a-
Mirror's Talk Sync technology.
That would be like the worst kid toy ever. They'd be like,
Yeah.
what do I put in there?
There's got to be
So
some.
it's embedded with an innovative technologies which include
Mm.
color electronic LCD eyes that react in fun and surprising ways.
I'm gonna play your Spotify list.
I'm gonna take over your life. And then it's
Fun in surprising
red.
ways. It should say fun and unexpected ways, because these things are the AI in these things are non-existent. They're lame.
Well, all I know is if you need a possessed toy for like a TV horror movie or whatever, this would be a good one.
Oh,
All right, friends, folks,
Comrades and
lend me
adversaries.
your podcastery.
wow. I'm all in.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Here we go. In 3, 2. Matthew Campbell has supported Independent Tech News directly for 5 years. Be like Matthew. Become a DTNS member at patreon.com/DTNS. This is the Daily Tech News for Wednesday, June 12th, 2019 in Los Angeles. I'm Tom Merritt.
And from Studio Feline, I'm Sarah Lane.
In Salt Lake City with a case of E3 fatigue, I'm Scott Johnson.
And I'm the show's producer, Roger Chang.
You can't spell fatigue without 3 E's at the end. At least when you've been covering E3. You recovered at all?
A little bit. I just kind of scatterbrained. There's so much information to soak up every year that it takes about a day and a half for it to all settle. And I think I'm getting there. I think this show actually will help me kind of blow out the dust. We're good.
Yeah, we only have one very tiny gaming story in today's episode. If you want a good E3 recap, Patrick Beja did one yesterday. Scott did one on Current Geek. There's also the monthly video game briefing with Patrick and Scott out there. There's Pixels. There's so much. It's not here. Not today. Let's start with a few other things you should know.
Huawei consumer business CEO Richard Yu told CNBC that the MateBook X laptop launch is on hold because it relies on Intel chips and Microsoft software that are restricted for sale to Huawei by the US. It's the first product cancellation, or at least postponement, since Huawei was placed on US entity list prohibiting US firms from supplying Huawei without a license. Yu said that the laptop will not be launched as long as Huawei remains on this entity list.
It's too bad that thing's good looking. The U.S. Federal Aviation Administration, awarded Uber the right to test drone delivery of food in San Diego, California. We're just in time for Comic-Con, maybe. Uber completed a test at San Diego State University in partnership with McDonald's and will now expand the test to other Uber Eats partnered restaurants. The restaurants load meals onto the drone, which flies to a predetermined location. And that drop-off point is then met by Uber Eats drivers who deliver it to the customer. Uber eventually wants to land the drone on the Uber Eats delivery car itself.
Yeah, so they don't even have to have a Dropbox down. We'll see if that
Not
works.
sure. Yeah.
AMD announced the 7-nanometer Radeon $379 RX 5700 and the $449 Radeon RX 5700 XT GPUs, part of the Navi family. Welcome, Navi. Both cards have RDNA architecture, which AMD promises to have a 1.25x performance per clock and 1.25x performance per watt over the previous generation. The RX 5700 XT has 40 compute units with 2,560 stream processors total, and both cards have 8 gigabytes of GDDR6 memory. Cards should arrive in July.
More than 5 million people have signed up for 5G in South Korea. The government says it took 69 days to reach that mark. 4G service took 80 days to reach the same level back in 2011. So a lot of adoption going on in South Korea. About 85 South Korean cities will have 5G connectivity by the end of this year.
All right, Scott, let's talk a little more about what's going on with the Have I Been Pwned database.
Well, let's talk about Troy Hunt. If that name's familiar, it's because, he's tied to it. He's announcing he's looking for buyers of his Have You Been Pwned service, which compiles a database of leaked usernames and passwords so people can see if their account credentials have been compromised. This totally saved me once. Hunt launched the database in December of 2013. The service now has over or almost 8 billion records with 3 million people subscribed to notifications. Commercial subscribers use it to alert members to identify theft and protect online assets from things like credential stuffing and fraud. Hunt has been operating it alone, but is now looking to sell it to a company. He emphasizes that he will remain part of it. It should remain freely available to consumers and customers, and there should be more disclosure possible with more people working on it. The sale process is referred to as Project Svalbard.
Yeah, that's where the big dump of seeds is in case the rest of the world dies. We've got a copy of every seed in Svalbard. And so he named it after that because this is like a big dump of important data. He's been doing this alone.
Yeah.
Since 2013. So poor Troy Hunt. Let's have a round of applause for taking this on.
Fighting the good fight.
And responsibly trying to make sure it can continue when it's moving past the scale that he can continue to do it himself. There is a business model. You mentioned it, commercial subscribers who want to be alerted to identity theft and protection against fraud. So finding a buyer for it is a good thing if it's the right buyer.
Yeah, and I wonder who that right buyer would be, especially since Hunt says, I still want to work on this project. I just don't want to do it by myself anymore. And maybe a company can help grow some of the, he mentions disclosures that are possible. And maybe there are different revenue streams, but it's not like he's like, you know what, I'm tired. I don't want to do this anymore. I've been doing it for 6 years. It sounds like it's very important to him that he find the right buyer, not just the right price.
I think it's important for the service to continue to be really important that he does indeed do that, because I don't know, even the appearance of it being in the hands of a company who may be one of the security risks that are highlighted in one of the, breaches that site helps you know about. Like, it's entirely possible that as company, like, I don't know, I'm throwing names out here, but let's say Yahoo, just because I feel like saying them, bought this. Yahoo was breached a couple of times. One of the times my name got all hacked up in there and I had to go change a bunch of stuff as a result. It was really nice to know that, but I would feel weird. Well, I mean, I guess it depends on how the company handled it, but it feels a little weird if a company owned it that was also the subject of some of the breaches that are in there. So I hope he finds whatever that happy medium is. There's got to be some kind of security firm or something in the middle ground that's not Apple, Google, somebody huge. Maybe it's somebody just who has the same desires as he does to keep this kind of security stuff going.
I could see Microsoft doing this. They've built up a lot of goodwill. It's the kind of thing that people might say, oh, okay, maybe Microsoft would do a good job with. I could see maybe IBM possibly. Certainly security firms out there, McAfee, et cetera. Intel owns them. So there's lots of suspects, but you know who I want to buy it is Mozilla. I don't know if they have the cash. This is an M&A. It's being handled by VC type people. But Mozilla could use this as a way to continue to fund their operations, which they're always looking for new ways to fund their operations. We've talked about, the idea of subscriptions to features in Firefox, et cetera. And it would be nice to have this built into Firefox so they could alert you immediately while you're in your browser. And it would be a foundation that has a lot of trust and goodwill in the community.
DJI introduced a toy robot tank called RoboMaster S1, available now in Japan, China, and the US for $499. It uses 31 sensors to map its environment and can move in 360 degrees by either using a mobile app or coding it to move on its own. Computer vision lets the S1 recognize and respond to gestures and sounds or track objects. It can also shoot beads, gel beads, and they expand in water, for battles and fun things like that. An add-on package to be sold separately will include a controller, extra battery, and more gel beads. It comes disassembled so kids can learn how it works as they put it together. It can also be customized and be controlled in Scratch 3.0 or Python.
Yeah, this is a great educational tool, and it comes out of a robot battle competition in China called RoboMasters that DJI was developing things for, and they decided to make a mass market version of it. And kids like to battle robots, and this helps them learn to code and have some fun. And the gel beads, you can ship a bunch of them real small and then expand them in water to be able to put into the robot for the battles. It all sounds great. Even you learning Scratch 3.0 or Python is good, especially Python. I think is good to help people learn to code.
Yeah. I think that for the price, you want a kid who's really gonna love this toy.
Oh, yeah.
Because kids can be fickle about this sort of thing. I don't want to build but I know had something like this been around when I was at the appropriate age to kind of be learning to code and want to get my hands dirty, it would have been a very cool toy.
I can see this being used by schools too. For robot clubs, and there's already a bunch of them. We've interviewed some of the people who run those on DTNS before.
I just wonder if there'll be like a secondary market for these beads, because it doesn't sound like a thing I can just walk into a REI and
really that's your biggest takeaway from this story is the secondary market.
Where do I get beads on consignment?
Not at all, because you guys did all the important stuff. I would just say that if you're gonna offer a thing that whose one of its main functions is that you can have like war games with it, you need to have a way to refill that easily. And I don't know what the beads are, where you can get them, but
yeah. Can you deflate them? Can you dry them out? And
right.
Yeah.
Are they environmentally safe? They're going to screw up.
I mocked you, but it's a surprisingly practical thought that you're having there.
Go ahead, Rich.
Oh no, I'm just hoping that it brings down the prices of Lego Mindstorms, which have up until now had like a near monopoly on school education / robotics for kids.
A little competition.
Yeah.
Never hurt anybody.
Google generally releases a new Pixel phone in October, which, if the pattern holds, would lead to a Pixel 4 announcement in a couple of months. Among the rumors are that Project Soli, SOLI, the ability to detect hand and finger movements in 3D space with millimeter accuracy, could be built in to the Pixel 4. There's also been some leaks of cases and form factors. 9to5 Google, however, has sources who say that while say that yes, Project Soli will be in there, and XDA developers found reference to a Pixel-specific feature called Aware Sensor in the beta version of Android Q. That Aware Sensor controls whether to show or hide settings and includes codes for skip and silence. So we think that relates to Project Soli, and you'd be able to like just wave your hand at a phone and silence it. After a lot of these rumors really started to pick up speed, the Twitter account Made by Google tweeted a picture of the Pixel 4, said, "Here, this is what it looks like."
Which is an official account.
Yeah, but stop looking at bad mock-ups. Officially, here is the Pixel 4. It shows 2 rear cameras and a third sensor and a large camera bump on the phone's back. I think that's hilarious that they're like, you know what? Fine. We're not going to pretend like we're going to keep these secrets till October. Here you go. Here's what it looks like.
Sure. We talked earlier about this. I still need to be convinced that gestures for a phone outside of, swiping and pressing and all the combinations thereof, multi-touch and whatever, I need to be convinced that I need that stuff, because right now I cannot think of a situation where I need to wave at my phone when I could just as easily swipe. Or
what if your hands are otherwise occupied? What if you're cooking pasta?
Fair enough.
That's wet hands, Scott. How about that?
That's a really good point. Or you're wearing gloves. It's out in the cold. You don't have the kind with the haptic, whatever, or the whatever it is. You don't have that capability. Okay, you got me there. I'm trying to think of any others though.
Well, the reason I even bring this up is because this actually happened to me yesterday a couple times, because I was making dinner, and it's just I'm just busy, and the phone rang, and it's Sirius XM. They call me like 40 times a day, and I don't want to answer the phone, and so I went over and I see the number, and I'm like, stop. And then it happened again, but this time it was actually a phone call that I did want to pick up, but I didn't, because I figured it was just the robocall again. I could also see this as, you hear your little text message ding, and you just kind of want maybe the speaker to read it out to you. That would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
What if I could program it? What if I'm getting a robocall and I look over and I can see it? What if I flip it off and then it just turns off? I just give it the bird.
Ooh, customized gestures.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
And then the thing's forced to just go, oh, okay, shut down that call. We're not going to take that because that gesture means no phone call.
Whatever the gesture is, and it doesn't have to be rude. I do find it to be a valuable thing that I would use, where I don't have to actually pick it up. I know these are the things like, how hard is it to just pick up your phone and tap the thing? But as busy as we all are these days, every little thing that saves us time just makes your life better and reduces stress. So I'm all for that.
Also kind of cool sci-fi stuff going on. You flicking something out of the air that's not there to tell your phone to do a thing is very, Minority Report, for lack of a better example.
Yeah.
If this all comes to fruition, I would love to know more details of, does the phone have to be at a certain angle? Does the phone have to be at, 3 feet or less from you? Because if my phone's in my purse in the other room, gesturing is not going to do anything for me.
Well, maybe one day the Google Pixel 4 will become a classic console and they can sell it in a mini form, like Konami has decided to do, like the rest of the industry and video games are doing. Konami announced a plug-and-play TurboGrafx 16 Mini yesterday. It's all during E3, although not part officially of an E3 announcement. But anyway, known as the PC Engine Mini in Japan and the PC Engine Core Graphics Mini in Europe. Not to be outdone by classic consoles from Nintendo, Sega, and Sony, Konami wants to get on the TurboGrafx name and get it out there again. Just as a side note, Konami is only the 3rd or 4th owner of the TurboGrafx IP. It was originally Hudson Soft. They worked with NEC. This is way back in the day, and it's changed hands a few times. Konami has them now. Anyway, they say that all versions of the system will feature standard functions like quick saves, virtual simulated CRT scan lines, so you can make it look like your old TV, and the original 4:3 aspect ratio. An optional multi-tap will also be available to allow up to 5 players simultaneous play. So all of you Bomberman fans, which is where that thing originally came from, you should be getting excited about that. It joins miniature editions of the NES, Super NES, PlayStation, and Neo Geo with a licensed Genesis Mini coming in September. These are the confirmed games. R-Type, New Adventure Island, Ninja Spirit, Yes Book 1 and 2, or Yis, or how do you say it?
Yeez,
Dungeon Explorer.
yeez.
Yeez? Okay. Of course, Pat.
Yeah, like Kanye.
Oh, yeah, right, like Kanye. Dungeon Explorer and Alien Crush. That's not a lot, and surely probably not the final list. I would hope Bomberman's on there, at least Bomberman 93. But anyway, they're getting into the game, Tom. They're going to make a tiny console and take advantage of everyone's nostalgia.
I mean, this one's exciting because I think a lot of people were like, "Oh, I didn't think we'd ever get a TurboGrafx." You know, it's not one of the ones you hear. It's not one of the big three, right? It makes me have hope for my mini 3DO someday. But I wonder. We were talking about this before the show. I wonder where it ends, or if it does, or if just a few years from now we'll be getting a mini GameCube because time marches on.
That's my only answer.
Well,
to
here's
all
your
questions.
answer to your why, Roger, because it's going to be this shifting timeline. The nostalgia we have mostly as children, which is where we really glom onto this stuff, will be a shifting timeline. They will eventually get to a point where N64 kids are going to go, "Where's my mini console?" And then we're going to get to a place where the next group of 30-year-olds will say, what about the Dreamcast? Where's that? It's just going to keep going. But I don't think they'll just keep going now. I think you need that time to pass before those things happen.
I mean, so this is my complaint. It's not the actual hardware. It's mainly the case that's been shrunk down. So you're going to be playing it on essentially an emulator on hardware that didn't exist back then.
True.
So really, you're just dressing it up in nostalgia. But you can play these games for the most part on something else and have the exact same experience. Maybe not the specific controllers.
You're not wrong. The SNES example, you can get all those Nintendo games in other places, virtual consoles and stuff. Although right now a lot of them aren't available on the Switch. So if you want to do it legally, your options are more limited. If you want to go out and go crazy with the shady sides of how you can preserve video games, well, sure, you got lots of options. But people also just have the little thing, man. You put it on your shelf.
Yeah, some people just buy toys even though they don't play with them.
Yeah, I think it's going to do well. Although
I know Tom's mild mocking tone. I will get to it when my kids are old enough not to eat the pieces.
It's important to note that the TurboGrafx was not a giant hit here in the States. So I don't know how much traction we're going to get over here, but it did well in Europe and Japan, so it'll probably do okay. We will have to wait and see.
Bloomberg reports that Google is moving some production of Nest thermostats out of China to avoid tariffs. Google-made US-bound server motherboard production has already been moved to Taiwan, and now Nest will move to Taiwan and Malaysia as well. Google faced a tariff on motherboards because it buys the components and then ships them to the US to build its data centers, rather than buying whole server racks, which are not yet subject to the tariff. Wistron, which makes servers for Facebook and Microsoft, said it's considering moving some production out of China as well. The Wall Street Journal reports that Nintendo is shifting some production of its Switch console to Southeast Asia.
Yeah, so I mean, there's really not much to discuss here, but there's been a lot of FUD out there about Huawei and the US and the tariffs and what effect will it have. This is one of the first real tangible effects we're seeing. Not speculation, not stock price, not what if, but companies actually moving their manufacturing somewhere because of the tariffs. And that means they think the tariffs will last long enough that it's worthwhile to just move it out of there and avoid it. And my guess is once it's moved, even if the tariffs do go away, these companies won't want to spend the time and money to move it back. So it's probably going to stay outside of China once it's out.
They're just not moving back to the States like a lot of people think tariffs are meant to do. The idea is that, oh, well, we'll get these jobs back in America finally because these tariffs will work. Well, they seem like they're working on these levels.
I didn't see anybody saying that in anything that I was reading.
Well, there's a certain guy in
I
charge.
think you're bringing in something you've heard in some other arena into this.
I have heard an elected official, perhaps the highest elected official.
No, that's what I mean. I think you're bringing your own axe and grinding it here.
Well, no, hold on a second. I want to actually argue that.
Okay.
That's not true at all. I've heard him say the words, "We want to bring these jobs and these products and these things back."
Yeah, but that's a whole separate topic.
Well, I'm just saying if that's the generalization he's going to throw at us, the truth is they're moving just to other parts of Asia.
Yeah, but the story here is that tariffs meant to hurt China are hurting China.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, in that case, sure. I guess that's good job. Good job, Tara. You're hurting China.
Hey, folks, if you want to get all the tech headlines each day in about 5 minutes, be sure to subscribe to dailytechheadlines.com. An art installation in Sheffield, England includes a 16-second video deepfake of Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg that shows him crediting a secret organization with his success. The voice isn't Zuckerberg's, though. This isn't taking Zuckerberg's voice and making it say something he didn't, which could be done. They didn't do that. They got an actor to say the thing about, I credit all my success to secret societies. But the video's body motions and lip sync are realistic. They match everything. And Zuckerberg didn't actually say this. So the installation is actually not meant to fool you. It's meant to raise awareness about social media manipulation. The video has been uploaded to Facebook's Instagram with the hashtag deepfake. And Instagram says it will not remove it. A spokesperson told the BBC, hey, if third-party fact checkers mark it as false, we'll filter it from Instagram's recommendation surfaces like Explore and hashtag pages, just like anything else, but they're not going to remove it. They wouldn't remove any other thing either. That they see as not being intentionally deceptive. And therefore, it's just a matter of marking like, oh, no, he didn't really say this, in case you're worried about that.
A few things. First of all, not being intentionally deceptive is still going to confuse a lot of people because we know how the internet works. And I think that if Facebook were to remove the uproar that Zuckerberg was getting treated in a different way than everybody else, all public officials, for example, celebrities, anybody in the public eye, the whole deep fake video thing is a real concern for people, depending on, if it's humor, okay, that's one thing. If it's designed to fool a bunch of people into something that could be detrimental to society, that's a whole other thing. So I don't think that Facebook had much of a choice here. But I know, Scott, you didn't think that the video was all that realistic, but I'm telling you, people are fooled easily.
Yeah, that my mother would have thought this was him because she doesn't know what he sounds like.
Right.
And I immediately went, that's not even a good impression of Zuckerberg. And so easy for me to tell, but you're right. And it's always a numbers game with this stuff, right? Like we always say, well, I'll never fall for an email phishing scheme, but obviously people do. It's a percentage game. So they could have even gone more realistic with this and fooled even some of us who didn't know or thought that did sound like him. I remember being fooled pretty well by the Jordan Peele Obama one because he does a really good Obama impression. And I was taken by it for a minute, just for a minute, but there are going to be people that are really taken by it. So you're right. I'm totally with you, Sarah. But also this is one of those things. It's like, oh, you have this policy, eh? What if we put your own Mark Zuckerberg in a video and he said stuff? Now you're going to keep it up. Like it's kind of a weird little bet, like a challenge.
I don't know. I mean, I think these folks actually made it because they want to spark a conversation. So a little bit of it is a challenge, but a little bit of it is just getting people to talk about it because they want to raise awareness to stop people from being fooled, which is a good thing. I think if this had included Zuckerberg's voice and did not include the hashtag deepfakes, it gets taken down. I really do believe that this is an example of them appropriately applying their policy and saying like, yeah, no, they're not trying to pretend like this is real. They put the hashtag deepfake in there. So our only responsibility is to make sure we mark it as false so that anybody who doesn't quite get it, like you're saying, Scott, will have extra information to go like, hey, this isn't real. But we shouldn't take it because it isn't intentionally deceptive. If it was intentionally deceptive, I think they take it down.
Well, and this installation is supposed to raise awareness, right? So you go, okay, well, that's for the greater good. But I think that's a tricky thing because if more and more people are worried that everything is fake, which is already a huge problem, and companies besides Facebook and Instagram and Twitter's another example, and there was the Nancy Pelosi video that one would say, well, I don't think, anybody thought that was real funny, and it did fool a lot of people, and it was intentionally meant to fool a lot of people. So you have a lot of circumstances where if there is more public awareness of what the tools are and how they can be used and how we can point them out and know better, great. But that is not an easy task.
I think this is a very unpopular, and I think both of you probably disagree with me, and that's fine. I think there's faker madness. Like there used to be reefer madness. Like there are negatives to marijuana use. and then there was this like crazy backlash against marijuana use that made it sound like it was way worse than it is. I think there's yes, there's problems with fakery, and sometimes people believe. Sometimes people say they believe even though they don't really, and we're not really like sensibly measuring. I say this all the time, and I apologize if I'm repeating myself, what the actual effects of this are.
Right.
And we won't really be able to decide where this line should be drawn until we sensibly measure what the effects are. Given all of that, though, I think what Instagram's doing here is walking that line pretty well.
Yeah, it still feels like bait to me, and I think they're treating the bait properly. They didn't take it. They're just doing what they're supposed to, and they're applying the thing. So I'm with you 100% on that, but I still think it's baity.
Yeah. I think it's meant to be baity. It's baity in the service of awareness and art, which you may think is a bad thing, or
It's
you may not.
and we're talking about it, so
Yeah,
well done.
And
Good
we've
job.
now raised awareness. We are art. I don't know if I like us, but I know we're art.
I know we're not deep fakes, that's for sure.
We're not. We're real.
No, we're absolutely. I'm really
real.
talking.
Yeah.
Thanks to everybody who participates in our subreddit. You're all real too, we hope. Submit stories and vote on them at dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com. If you want to hang out on Facebook, join our group if you haven't already. Facebook.com/groups/dailytechnewsshow.
Let's take a look at the mailbag.
Let's do it. John said in response to Tom's article, Tom, about
Actually, it was Shannon's article.
Oh, it was Shannon's article. It was a cross post. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Shannon Morse, yes. Article about Ring Doorbell Community Service. John says, our local police have invited citizens to participate in their security camera registry. John lives in San Jose, California. John says, like he said, that some of these jurisdictions are requiring end users to turn over any footage from said devices when requested, even though that isn't in line with Ring's terms of service. John links us to the camera registry in San Jose. It's at sjpd.org. And he says it has the following text. Any footage containing or related to criminal activity may be collected by the San Jose Police Department for use as evidence during any stage of a criminal proceeding. John says, I have cameras, not Ring brand, but they do record, and I'd love to help my neighbors catch the bad guys. But the any in the above agreement feels a bit broad, just letting you know about a citizen wondering the same thing you were.
Yeah, this is great, John. Thank you for raising this. If anybody wonders what he's talking about, Shannon Morse did a post on Patreon about the Ring service being used by the police. There's two different things. The quote, he says, some jurisdictions require end users to turn over footage, has to do with the fact that they may have a warrant out. And if someone has made the video footage public on the Ring service, the police may come in with a warrant and say, you have to let us have that footage. It's public anyway. There's a separate thing that John's bringing awareness, which is a camera registry in San Jose that you can sign up for and say, yes, I would like to contribute footage from my camera to fighting the crimes. And if you do that, you should know that any footage could be collected for use as evidence during any stage of the criminal proceedings. So it's a good thing to be aware of. Thank you, John.
Thank you, John. Thanks to everybody who emails us, feedback at Daily Tech News Show. And thanks to Scott Johnson. Scott, where can people keep up with all your fabulous work?
Well, they can go to frogpants.com. In particular, they can, like Tom said, follow all this E3 content that we did. Patrick Beja and I did all of it. 12 hours of conference audio and video, and it's all available up there at frogpants.com. There are multiple feeds that carry these shows. It's a lot. So if you're into that world, you want to have that video game commentary, you want to go deep, we have you covered. But if you just want a good monthly look at what happened at E3 and why you should care as a tech audience, I recommend the MVBG show, the monthly video game briefing, which is available now. I think Patrick got the new one up. I'm not 100% sure, but we recorded this morning and it was great. It was a great summation of what happened at E3 2019, what it may mean for you. So check that out. That can be found over at frogpants.com/MVGB.
Real quickly, folks, if you're listening to this before 4 o'clock Pacific time, June 12th, a Wednesday, and you are in Los Angeles near the farmer's market, go to the 326 bar. We're probably there, or we're going to be there real soon because we're having a meetup. Also, if you're like, wait a minute, that Shannon Morse article, did I see that? Well, I don't know. Did you? Are you a patron? Because that's where that stuff goes. If you're a member of our Patreon, you get an ad-free version of the show. You get bonus episodes. I just recorded an editor's desk going up this weekend covering all the strategies that the Department of Justice may take in busting up tech companies with antitrust. Even though antitrust is usually about consumer harm, there's lots of consumer harm that doesn't involve prices. And so if you want to know that kind of stuff, that's coming to the Patreon at patreon.com/DTNS. Join now.
Email us at feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com and join us live. We're live Monday through Friday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, 2030 UTC. Find out more at dailytechnewsshow.com/live.
Back tomorrow with Justin Robert Young. Talk to you then.
This podcast is part of the Frog Pants Studios Network. For more information about this and other shows, visit frogpants.com. Audio program so good, it's like you're there.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
That was a throwback. Weird.
I got both of them right next to each other on the soundboard, so I just made a last minute call. And
Action.
live. We got some titles at dtns.showbot.tv. E3 Fatigue. It's a good title, but it doesn't actually represent what's in the show because we don't talk about E3 a lot. Have I Been Sold? Have I Been Pwned? Have I Been Sold? Pretty good. Tom's Mocking Tone. Pwned to Own.
Pwned to Own.
Yeah, that's the name of a contest. It applies here. A lot of people wanted to do Pwned to Own stuff. Troy hunting for a buyer. Judging Google's Pixel 4 solely on merit. SOLI. Get it?
Oh, took me a minute.
Uber's eating the market. Dressing up nostalgia gestures made by Google.
The GDI
You okay?
has the GDI has to be Ted Koppel doesn't look a day over 79. I'm just gonna go ahead and vote for that one right
All
now.
right, yeah, I can get behind that too. We got your GDI dog.
I can barely get it out.
Nobody put give the Pixel the bird or anything with bird in it.
We got Faker Madness in here. There's a lot of titles today.
I was trying to sneak that bird in.
So wait, what was the one you wanted for GDI, Sarah?
Ted Koppel doesn't look a day over 79. Which please veto it if no one else agrees that that's the best thing ever.
Okay, I need a gut check on this because it entertains me. Fake you, Zuckerberg.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
Okay, we got some applause from the audience. Let's see. Like Kanye cooking pasta. Kids become RoboMasters. I'd like to come up with something about the main topic, about the faking stuff. Could do Faker Madness.
Fake you, Zuckerberg unless we're like, ooh, it's too close to,
Well, I don't think it is.
the other word.
Now,
I
what do you
pick
think?
it. I pick it.
I like it.
Therefore,
Right,
if
good.
anyone
Right.
complains, it's because I picked it.
I like
Roger is a father of two. So there you go.
That's right.
I also have a very high.
His children eat toys.
They do. They also eat lots of
You're
paper
not-
products.
You're not gonna want one of those DJI tanks then.
No, well, not with the
Well,
low.
they'll eat all the
pellets.
pellets. And then where are they gonna get them? No one
All right.
knows.
This one's for you, Mr. Potts, who pointed out. Amos, get over here. Come over here. You gotta. Potts wants to see you. He wants to see you're a real person. There's Amos.
There he
Hello
is.
to people, Amos.
He looks like an animatronic droid.
It's not a green screen. It's real. Look.
It's an animated GIF on a 90s website.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right, Rich, your turn.
Tom, are those lights new?
Oh, thank you for noticing. Yes, they are.
I like them.
They're not properly positioned yet, so
No, but I was like,
Oh, there's Rich.
there's Rich.
Tom, your lights make it look like a cool little outdoor like bistro.
Yeah.
Right.
I like it.
Yeah, I still got to do that.
Yeah,
gonna order
they're connected to the studio lights, so I can say turn on the studio and it all goes on.
How are they connected? Do you have a hub?
They're Philips Hue. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Phillips, you.
I didn't realize Philips Hue did strings.
Yeah, These
That's
are
cool.
from Phillips, actually. Yeah.
That's fun.
I'm
Well, I could
afraid.
get really creative.
I'm afraid
then.
to cut them until I know what I'm doing. So that's why they're just kind of shoved in there right now.
Cut them.
Yeah, because you can actually cut them to fit so that they would just I can stick them on the
Oh,
top of the shelf
Oh, I see what you're
and
saying.
put them all the way across. Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Like you could have like fancy, like under the cabinet kitchen lights and stuff like that.
Totally. Yeah.
Without the
Yeah.
You can
fancy
change
under
the hue.
cabinet
You can-
Yeah,
kitchen
yeah,
light
yeah.
price.
That's neat.
So come on down to Tom's World of Lighting.
Yeah. Tom points out LifeX also does strings if you want.
I do. I'm enjoying both kinds. Although I have some thoughts,
Yeah.
which I am making notes for.
All right, good.
Mhm.
You want to
We-
share any hints on those thoughts?
Well, yeah, I mean it's not like a secret. We can go into like more depth when we finish our live with it segment
Yeah, of course.
time frame. But yeah, it's weird. There are certain skills that work like 80% of the time and then just work weirdly the rest of the time. For example, I have one that has my bedroom. I've got two lights in my bedroom, but one's the nightstand light right next to my bed. And I have it turn on slowly starting at 6:30 if I'm
Right.
not already up, which I
Mhm.
am sometimes, over like a 20-minute period to represent the sun coming up.
Nice.
Yeah, it just like, I don't know, I can sleep through it really easily. So I don't know how helpful it is, but I loved the idea. But there have been times where I wake up and it's like 6:40 and the lights just isn't on.
Oh yeah.
This morning, the light went on at 6:23. Why? Don't know.
It just went on. It didn't do the slow fade.
It was just on.
Oh, that's weird.
But
Yeah.
but it's not supposed to start until 6:30 anyway.
Mm.
So it's like, what's going on here? So I've kind of been, just jotting down little kinks. But that's a
That's why we do 3 months.
a minor complaint. Yeah, exactly.
Because these things build up and then they're useful. Like it's not like that's the one thing that'll make you not want to use it. But if over 3 months you're like, that's it, that's all the worst I can complain about, people are like, oh, okay, that's not so bad.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I do find that and this is like, I think a lot of us do this just with personal assistants in general, but because I'm telling my assistant to turn the lights on and off so many times throughout the day now in various rooms, I now say please at the end because I feel like I'm barking at her otherwise.
Turn on the lights, turn off the lights. Why'd you turn on those lights?
Yeah, exactly.
Or-
Like if I turn off the studio light, it's like, well, I won't do it because it'll screw everybody else's assistant up. But yeah, I feel like I'm being a rude boss if I'm like, turn my studio light off.
Studio.
Yeah. I always say, can you turn off the studio light, please?
Oh wait, it did it. Turn on studio. Hopefully it'll come back.
Did it work?
Nope.
How do you do it without the wake word?
Yeah, you got to
Turn on studio.
Don't you have to tell her?
There we go. That's better. I mute myself when I say the wake word.
Oh.
Rich and Amos were like, we know.
Deep
his trick.
fake. Tom's like, I know how to not have a wake word. I just talk to the air.
I just use mental. I think real hard. You know what I had for ice cream this weekend?
What's that?
Bacon and eggs.
What?
Bacon and eggs ice cream at Salt and Straw.
Stop it.
So good.
Ugh, God.
Had pancakes in it too.
Ah. Well, the bacon is just, I'm never going to get behind that. But how did the egg part, how do you do that?
The egg part, I didn't really taste that much.
Yeah. It
was
was
just
just
in
probably
there.
like creamy.
Yeah. So there was a little yellow tint, where the egg had been added. I mean, there's egg in ice cream anyway. So that one that's a little.
Yeah, there's egg already.
Yeah, but ice cream
Not
doesn't
always,
taste like
right.
scrambled eggs.
Right. But they had a little they had bacon in there and pancakes, and it was good. I wasn't sure it was going to be. So I did a sample and I'm like, oh yeah. Oh, I want that.
No.
I don't like I don't like it.
If you put syrup on your pancakes and you eat them with bacon and eggs, you'll love it.
No.
It's that experience. Do you mean no, you won't love it, or no, you won't love it?
No, I won't let you just said you.
Roger's speaking for himself.
Well, you just said no. I wasn't sure if you were disagreeing with my entire statement or just saying it for you.
No.
Now I still don't know.
Now, so there's
Roger will not be ordering this ice cream.
there are certain ice cream flavors. I think, and honestly, I believe it's mental, but there's a kind of a savory sweetness block in your head where you can say you're allowed a certain amount of sweetness in your savory dishes, and you're allowed a certain amount of savoriness in sweet dishes, but. I don't know.
But you can't fool all the people all the time.
You can't fool your mind all the time. And
Sometimes the streams cross the wrong
if
way.
it was pancake, it was like pancake ice cream. I would totally
what is
go
that
for it.
even? What's that?
It tastes like your cone. Tastes like your waffle cone.
Yeah, well, that actually sounds kind of.
I
weird.
like a little savory in my sweet sometimes, and
I like a little salt on
Yeah.
my sweet,
honestly,
definitely.
the bacon part was
Um,
just that. It was
I guess
just
salt
like
isn't really
salt.
all that
Like a
sweet.
salted caramel kind of thing.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't like. I don't
Oh,
like
yeah, I
bacon
gotta-
dessert
yeah.
stuff. The bacon cupcakes used to really offend me. I don't know if people
Mm.
are still eating a lot of those, but it was a big
I
craze
never
a few
was
years
a big
ago.
fan of the bacon chocolate. Some people were like, "Ooh," and I do like salted caramel chocolate,
Yeah.
salted dark chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
Bacon chocolate never worked for me.
Tom brags
Mm.
about his ice cream.
Yeah.
All right. Roger writes down.
But
the
it's
name.
like, people love chicken and waffles.
I love
And
chicken
I-
and waffles.
I don't, because I don't
It's
like
the
the syrup
same
to touch the
principle.
chicken.
Yeah,
I don't.
same
It's just
principle.
it's a sweet and
So-
savory thing that doesn't work for me.
That's a good test case. Do you like chicken and waffles? Yes or no? If you say no, then I'm going to be like, you won't like the breakfast ice cream from Salt and Straw.
Yeah,
But if you say yes, then we can proceed down the flow chart to
yeah.
other.
Chicken, waffles, both fine. Don't want them on the same plate.
Oh, I love me some
Starch,
chicken.
meat, fried. What's not to love?
I like it. I
it's
like to just
sugar-
wrap the chicken up in the waffle.
Oh, that
Feel
sounds
like a
so good
taco.
right now.
With the syrup permeating the chicken.
Yeah,
Well, I don't.
Mm.
I don't use syrup.
it's like a honey glazed
I
chicken.
don't use syrup. I use.
I
Amos
don't
and
like
Rich are
honey
both
glaze.
throwing up now, but I love this stuff.
I do too. I'm with Tom.
No, Rich is actually like, no, this all it's okay. Amos is throwing up.
Keep in mind, Tom drank a whole clamato with a chocolate donut once.
It's a
in
good
front of
point. I don't really have taste buds.
Honestly,
Bless me.
wait. Let me ask you. So if you eat cilantro, it tastes like cilantro to you, Tom?
Well, hold on. You mean what does cilantro taste like to me?
Yes.
Does it taste like soap, or do you
Yes,
not
it
have
tastes
that
like
gene?
cilantro because I put it in my mouth and that's what it tastes like. But yeah, it does not taste like soap to me. Cilantro tastes fine to me.
What about you?
I
Sarah?
I really feel for people who are like, it's soap, because cilantro is such a great garnish. Well, cilantro doesn't belong on everything, but it's so delicious on so many things. No, I love cilantro. And I have friends who are like, no, it completely will ruin any dish.
When I eat cilantro, I hear Yanny.
Not who. It's not a who. It's not Yanni. It's he's doing the Yanni versus what was the other thing?
What was it?
Yanni and
Laurel Yanny.
Laurel or Yanni. Come on, Rob.
Oh yeah, the blue dress, white dress thing, but it was
Oh,
audio.
I
Yeah,
thought you were
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about the master of the pan flute.
When that Laurel or Yanny thing went around, I was like, I'm not even participating in this stupid thing. I hate it.
And you took off your gold dress and realized it was blue.
That one was weird because I
I was weird
checked it
because I
on
saw both.
on a desktop browser, and then I checked it on mobile later, and it had changed. And I'm not making this up, and I'm not crazy.
Mhm.
It changed. But the Laurel and Yanny, I was like, I don't want to do this again. I just don't want to do it.
Laurel and Hardy.
When I say Yanny, cilantro comes out. Weird.
Yeah, and it tastes like soap.
My gold dress looks like soap.
There's the cilantro thing. I don't know if there's any other food that is so you've got a
feel like there are.
gene
It's-
that
it's
will
pretty rare.
because it's too specific. It's not like someone's like, I just don't like it. It's like you either, well, I guess you could just not like cilantro, but if it tastes like soap, you're in that
No, but like
camp.
there's things that definitely taste different to people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So cilantro is the poster food for that.
Yeah. I don't
There
I
are a
don't
few
like-
other examples out there, but I can't think of them now.
Yeah, I can't either. I know that there's this is different, but there's the person who does not think asparagus has a
Oh, the asparagus smell, the pea smell.
yeah, that's
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some people who are like, don't smell anything.
You don't smell
The rest of us are
asparagus?
like, are you crazy?
That's a handy thing to have.
I know. It's a
Yeah.
good gene.
What happened to the
Just eat
We're
asparagus?
the more evolved species.
Oh, he ate it. Right. So you know who ate the asparagus.
What?
Who ate the asparagus?
Yeah, exactly.
It's an evolutionary disadvantage not to know who ate the asparagus.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, or an advantage if you like
Maybe
to
there
live
was
in
a
blissful
predator.
ignorance.
There was a predator that ate a lot of asparagus, so you could.
And
like,
you were able to
"Oh,
avoid it. Like,
yeah.
oh, that asparagus eating tiger is here again.
Well, this
saber-toothed
also
cat."
this is like a bigger conversation I was having with a friend. We might have even talked about it on the GDI in the past, where it's like, why is it that some smells are identified pretty universally as bad? Like we know what a good smell is. Like,
Yeah.
that's, it's, someone's cooking something or whatever it is. But why does
Evolution.
something smell bad?
It's because
Is it supposed to be because we're supposed to know
Stay
before
away
we
from
get
it.
too close not to eat it?
Yes.
Mhm.
Or
Part of
get too
it,
close to it.
Yeah.
Or that it could be infectious, like poop.
Yeah. Like if like a tire is burning or something, you're like, ooh, that's
Mhm.
terrible smell. You know,
Yeah.
I shouldn't get close to that thing.
And saber-toothed.
It's
Or if you shouldn't date a person,
True.
and in tears, they smell bad.
yeah, I have to sit next to him all the time. I should have heated my.
Oh man. Yeah, no, I think that's that's it. It's about avoiding things that might be dangerous, but it's
Yeah.
not perfect, right?
No,
Otherwise-
because it's also pretty subjective.
Yeah, a lot of it is. Like cooking smells. You mentioned cooking smells. Some people get annoyed by cooking smells if
Yeah.
it's not their own cooking,
Yes,
like in
or
apartment buildings and stuff. Yeah.
or yes, very much so. Or for example, like I love the smell of sauteed onions. Some
Mhm.
people do not because they don't like
Mhm.
onions. And so
Yeah.
that just it's sort of like I don't like the smell of bacon because I know I don't like to taste it. So when I smell it, I'm like, ugh.
The
Yeah,
one I
but-
can't figure out is gas. Why does gas smell good to me and everyone else?
Like
other people?
gasoline,
Like
or
gasoline?
natural gas.
Gasoline, like straight up.
It's
gas at a
because you're
gas.
getting high off of it.
Like at the gas station, you're like,
I love the smell. I love
No,
it.
I know. I mean, it's the same reason why people sniff markers. Like like.
I don't know that that's
Well, no,
it's
like
because you're a huffer,
no,
Scott.
because when I was a kid, I loved the smell of markers. Like my dad would have a
but
whole set. My dad would say,
you think the smell is indicating to you like keep going, you'll get high.
"No, I'm saying that you there's a pleasantness about it that is because you're getting high."
Yeah,
But you're
why
not
are
actually
some of
getting high, just sniffing a little bit of petrol smell at a gas station.
yeah, I've never been high on that as far as I know. But that's
we get a shot of Scott just like, smelling it.
I kind of know what you mean, Scott. I wouldn't say I love the smell, but it's like I can think of the smell right now. You know, it's like it's so.
All right, I'm gonna throw this. This is probably way too weird, and we'll probably have to end the show as soon as I say it. But soup, the smell
Yes.
of soup, I feel like is a borderline smell
What do you mean?
that can very quickly start to smell like something disgusting.
Like,
and-
Is it
I'm with
any soup
soup.
or
It
just
depends on
certain
the
soup?
Disgusting bodily processes can start to smell like soup sometimes.
what? What kind of soup are you eating?
I mean, are they just regular bodily processes or
Wait,
really?
I want to know
disgusting
what
ones?
kind of soup. I mean,
Diarrhea.
Oh,
But like
Yeah.
any
yeah.
soup.
What kind of soup?
Just
Like
not-
cream
not-
of
not a
cream of
kind.
tomato?
Not a like, ooh, that I want to eat that. That must be chicken noodle. Just like, oh, it kind of smells like soup. Scott, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I think there's something to that. I think it's just like a
Did you two have an experience at Nerdtacular one?
No,
time?
no, no. No, but it's like the what's the
I
kind-
swear we didn't talk about this before.
like the vegetable beef soup you'd get out of like
Yeah, it can, just like a meat stock.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
not, it's not
Oh,
about
well, so-
what's in the soup.
So
right?
it's interesting you say meats, particularly because as I've gotten older, beef to me actually stinks. Like, but like even fresh. When I was younger, in my 20s, I used to work in my dad's kitchen. Used to cut like cut out the steaks and stuff. It didn't bother me, but as I get older now, it just kind of stinks. It smells like something's
There's that
wrong.
universal soup smell, no matter what the soup is, right?
I
it's
know what
chicken
you're talking
or
about.
There's
whatever.
no way
No,
that's
no.
true. There's so many different kinds
No,
of
I
soup.
think I know what you're talking about
There's
because you
a
smell.
common element amongst them.
It's
what I'm
there's a certain odor that you
Really?
get when you render animal fat into a large
Whether
pot
it's
of
chicken or beef.
Or
Yeah.
So
fish.
this is a soup with meat in it, is what you're saying.
Well, not meat in
It's
it,
a
but just
broth
stock.
more. It's
the
more of a
broth
broth.
smell. The broth
Okay.
smell part of
All
soup.
So
right, so
imagine,
there's-
so Sarah, imagine you going into your school's cafeteria in the kitchen. There's always that smell at the beginning of the day, even though there's no food out there cooking their lunch, and it kind of smells like a wet diaper.
I was never allowed in there,
But
especially
like
at the beginning of the day.
but you didn't have like the smells just coming from the kitchen like into the school. Never. Huh.
We
and-
ate outside.
GPEG says Tom doesn't like bisque. No. I'm not saying I don't like it. That is what's weird. There's like an
Does
overlap.
lobster bisque remind you
Where
of
I-
horrible human?
I may smell something that I know
excrement.
is bad and be like, man, that smells disturbingly close to soup. I'm uncomfortable right now.
What about gazpacho?
Oh
But
yeah,
you
no,
can't
that's
smell it.
cold.
It's cold.
Yeah.
I don't like gazpacho because it's basically salsa, and that's gross.
You don't like
What?
salsa?
No, I like
Get
salsa,
outta
but
here,
I don't- But I
Scott.
don't eat salsa like I
Leave.
do a soup. You wouldn't sit there with a
Listen,
spoon. and eat
I
salsa.
eat salsa
I
with
eat my
the side of
gazpacho
chips.
with a tortilla chip. It's great.
You garnish salsa with chips, and that's how you eat it.
But that's what Tom. But Tom just proved my point. He could eat tortilla chips in his gazpacho, and it would be
It's
great.
too runny to eat with a tortilla chip. Though.
It depends. I get the last one I had was very chunky and very
You got a
cold.
very chunky gazpacho.
I
All
would.
right.
On a hot day.
I love gazpacho.
Yum.
You should
I'd
eat more salsa
chocolate
with a spoon.
frosting with tortilla chips. I mean,
Full of vitamin C.
Oh.
Oh,
Roger.
Roger.
have you guys tried it? Have you tried it? Don't go.
Mm.
All right.
I don't
I will go
like-
after I try it. How
I
about
don't want any corn
And
fried product near chocolate.
bodily
Oh,
or
no.
any other.
I
functions.
accidentally ended Good Day Internet.
Oh.
Oh
I was
man.
meaning to just click the window and I hit the pause button. Hold
All
on.
right. So I will.
Oh no, it doesn't work that way. Damn it.
Right.
All right.
So do I need to pull it from the audio from here?
No, you'll just need to marry these two files together. We had a momentary interruption. You didn't lose anything. There was no important soup comments that you're missing.
We've all become friends again
Yep. Everyone's good.
after
We will not be eating soup together. But other than
Uh,
that,
very polarizing
Everything's
opinions.
Maybe
fine.
we shouldn't eat together either, but we'll decide on that.
no,
later.
we will. We'll have some gazpacho, all of us.
Everyone.
Tomorrow, in fact. Yeah.
I'll bring my kids in a diaper.
Okay, I guess you
Oh,
kind of have
yep,
to at that
yep,
age. So
yep.
what am I going to say?
Yep.
Everybody, here's what I'm going to say. Have a good day.
Have a good
Good day,
day.
internet.
Good day, internet.
Don't eat. The
All right, so there's like a 40-second file now.